Welcome to DSI Live, everyone. Thank you for being with us here today. Welcoming Mark LeBlanc to our DSI Live session. Thanks for being here, Mark.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this. I know that many of the people in our group are looking forward to this as well. And I have to say, we're already adding viewers. I have to say, Mark is one of my most favorite people on the planet for a variety of reasons. And I'm sure that, let me just look away for a second before I go into, we've already got some hellos. Hello, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for making comments. Let us know if you're here. We'd love to take your questions. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll make sure that we run those by Mark. And thanks for checking in here today. So I'm sure, Mark, that there's a way that you prefer to be introduced, but you're stuck with my introduction today. And I thought, I personally think some of the best introductions are those when someone actually really knows the person they're introducing and has worked with them and is able to share. And I think that's a situation here. So I wanted to take a little liberty, a minute or two before we really turn the time over to you today to share with those who are tuning in that Mark and I have been working together. I think we're in our fourth year, for sure 3. I judge that in my mind by how many achiever circles I've been to. I've been to achiever circle every spring. I know I've been to 4, so I've got to be in our 4th, and I think this will be my 4th Whatever It Takes conference, which is in the fall, which you can maybe tell us a little bit more about what those are and what the differences are when we get to that point later on. But what I realized recently, a couple weeks back, I was speaking with a speaker, and I really felt that they would benefit by working with Mark. I know how I've grown, and the systems and the tools and the philosophies and the really well-established guidelines that Mark has for entrepreneurs has just really helped me grow my business. And that was when I sat for a minute and thought, well, how has my business grown before I sent off this referral? And then I thought back to my numbers, which I probably should be like more in touch with my numbers than know this right away. But I thought, man, I'm going to share with you guys something we probably don't normally talk about, but my own business has more than doubled in the couple of years that I've worked with Mark, and I think that is really significant. I want to grow. I'm in growth mode. There's a lot more growth that we want to have, and so I think I'm not the only speaker or consultant out there that is in growth mode and would really like to see that type of growth and more. And so I just wanted to start our conversation by sharing with those who are going to watch this video or watch this live how much impact Mark's coaching has had for my business. And I worked with a lot of coaches and a lot of different types of coaches over the years. And one of the things I think that really helps Mark's coaching stand out is that it's more than a call. It's more than him helping me like right now with a challenge, but I leave his meetings, his achiever circles, whatever it takes, or I leave his calls with tools. You got a boatload of tools, Mark, that you developed over the years and philosophies so that I can then on my own back at my office know what would Mark say. And I would tell this to anyone, not just because you're sitting in front of me, Mark, but I really want to I'm probably preaching to the choir with those that are tuned in, but I just think that's one of the things that is so exceptional about the way you do help us grow our businesses. So thanks for being here. I know that you wanted to share a couple of important strategic questions with us today, but tell me, first of all, how far off am I on your introduction? How would you normally introduce?
Well, I actually thought you were going to say I was a good listener, but
you
now I know the value is in the tools. So that's a good thing. There's a lot of different ways that a professional can introduce himself or herself. And obviously it's situational because we're in different environments, whether it's a networking meeting, the beginning of a presentation, or how we give someone a window into our world. But one example of a short introduction, in fact, I refer to it as a defining paragraph, and I would generally start out by saying, hello, my name is Mark LeBlanc, and I run a speaking business out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I conduct presentations and I create experiences for independent professionals and practice professionals who want to create an extreme sliver of focus and put more money in their pocket as a business owner. In addition, as a business coach or advisor, I work one-on-one with people who want to start their own business and small business owners who want to grow their business. In fact, I wrote a little book, my first book. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary, titled "Growing Your Business," and we're coming out with the 20th anniversary edition later this fall. There you go. As a result of my work, people often share they are more focused on a daily basis, able to attract more prospects, generate more referrals, and ultimately create a path and a plan for generating more business. And on a personal note, next year, I'm going to travel to Spain and go on a short 500-mile walk for the 4th time. So that's an example of my defining paragraph, and I was able to sort of personalize that on the fly. I hope it didn't sound like a script. I kind of slowed it down a little bit for listeners to kind of catch it a bit. But if you're watching this, just jot down defining paragraph. It's a 7-sentence template for creating a core or backbone of an introduction. And when you have a great defining paragraph, you can strengthen your LinkedIn profile. When you need to do a promo or a blurb for a convention or a conference, you can use it as the basis for your introduction for a presentation or a workshop. And so there's all kinds of things. In fact, Vanessa, I didn't share this with you, but when you asked me to put together something to promote this Facebook Live interview, it actually took me only about 90 seconds to pull those 2 short paragraphs together, because I know my defining paragraph like the back of my hand. And so when you sent me that email and said, can you send me something short? It just, in less than 2 minutes. But I would have labored over it had I not had a solid defining paragraph to work from.
I find that I've definitely used my defining paragraph in the ways you're talking about, as well as like my bio on my website. And I agree with you. Once you have it thought through, there's so many different purposes for it. That was really good too. And before we launch into what we're here to talk about, I was just saying, as I listened, I was thinking as I was listening to that, how it kind of like builds a story too. It's not the traditional intro that many people just tune out as a blah, blah, blah. It's more like it's more interesting, more meaty. So today, what do you want to talk about? We talked about having a couple of the 2 strategic, I think what's the 2 strategic questions that you felt would be important for us to know. Could you guide us there? What did you have in mind?
Well, I do have 2 strategic questions, and we sort of titled this "Focus is Not Everything," because you always hear that you hear the phrase "focus is everything." Well, I'm here to tell you that focus is not everything, but let me tell you what it is. Extreme focus is everything. The decisions that you make and the steps that you take each and every day will ultimately take you where you want to go, or they won't. And what I find is that in these times of challenge and change and so many things coming at us on a daily basis, Almost anything or anyone can take us off on what I call a tangent, disguised as an opportunity. So I think that if we can really look to adopt an extreme sliver of focus, and that doesn't mean you're going to be focused 6, 8, 10 hours a day, but if you can ground your day in a degree of focus, it will guide or direct the decisions and the steps that you take. But strategic question number 1 is, you either become known for something, some particular area of expertise, or you become known to somebody, known for or known to. Now, obviously, many of the people listening to this call are already one step ahead of most independent professionals because they tend to focus on the dental world. But even inside the dental market or the dental industry, what sliver resonates with you the most? Is it speaking to a group of dentists? Is it a group of office managers? Is it hygienists? So if you're in front of an audience, last month I was in East Tennessee. I did a full day program for about 50 dentists, their spouses, their office managers, a number of hygienists. Even that is what I call a mixed group, even though it's inside the dental world. The next morning, I did 3 hours with primarily 50 dentists, more of a pure audience or a pure group. And why that's important is that from a focus perspective, I'm always going to proactively go after a pure group of my perfect fit versus a mixed group of any kind of fit. And so that's really taking focus to an art form. Of course, I'm known for growing your business. Everything I do is under the topic of business development and under that signature, or what I call my franchisable concept. Not franchisor or franchisee, but growing your business is the single outcome that I'm known for more than any other topic or any other area of expertise. I can speak or address other issues in the marketplace, but they tend to come along for the ride the more I focus on growing your business. Now, it was about 8 years ago that I was the opening keynote speaker at SCN, and I will always be grateful for that opportunity because, well, that was my first entree into the dental world. In the last approximately 8 years, somehow they like me in dental, and I'm doing more today in dental than any other area of the marketplace, of which I'm incredibly grateful and proud, and the people that I've met along the way have just been extraordinary.
Yeah. Dental people are great people. I mean, it just, for whatever reasons, dentistry really does attract some awesome people.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does. 8 years, man, it seems like it's been longer than that. I mean, there's just so much that I've seen you do in dental. So something I caught in there, I wanted to circle back to. So be known for something or become known to somebody. And then you talked about how it's better for us to, like you talked about in Tennessee, how you spoke to the group of only dentists versus the mixed. Could you elaborate a little bit more, like take that, maybe this is where you're going, to take that a little deeper, like why is it better for us to speak, or try to get to that narrow niche of audience or potential clients?
Now, again, dental speakers are already one step ahead of most speakers.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, most speakers just want to be in front of a group. They don't really care what kind of a group. And it took me a long time to understand that I was more likely, to use a baseball word picture, I was more likely to hit a home run in a pure audience of the same type versus a mixed audience. So for example, if I spoke to a Chamber of Commerce audience, that was a mixed bag of all kinds of different businesses and all kinds of different roles and responsibilities. But if I was in front of 200 real estate agents or 90 top producers in financial services or 800 insurance agents, I seemed to always do better. It was easier to connect with that audience. It was easier to personalize some of my stories and practices to a pure group of the same type. 20 consultants. And so when I have that opportunity, I always know, and I know that professional services is my sweet spot in the marketplace. Yeah. If I'm in front of a pure group of the same type or title, doesn't really matter. I'm more likely to hit a home run.
Thank you for elaborating there, and it makes me think too that I see that as well, and so many of our dental speakers, I think, even take it a step further, in that many of our speakers want to speak to dentist because they're the decision maker in the practice, but that's not always the primary target for a speaker. It might be a hygienist who wants to speak to a group of other hygienists or something like that. And so I think that's what we're saying is, let's take it even deeper than to the point of being really clear about your topic and choosing who's the right fit for that topic.
Yes. And I mean, I had a blast with the dentists and their spouses and office managers. And something I often share is the power is in knowing, and a lot of times speakers will hit a home run, but they don't really know why. And sometimes it doesn't go as well as maybe they would have liked it to have gone, and they don't necessarily understand why. But success leaves clues. If you begin to look in your rearview mirror and sort of dissect or observe or analyze different experiences, I would be willing to bet that most speakers they might have still done a good job, but maybe the connection wasn't quite there with a mixed group as it might have been with a pure group.
I see that. It's just more powerful.
Yeah.
So Mark,
it only took me 800 presentations to figure that out.
I thought you were going to say 800 years. Might have felt like that. So I'm noticing in our comments, we have someone that says, sounds like good information. Could you post that book? I think we're talking about this book, The Growing Your Business. Do I remember, is that something that is electronic, or that we could maybe we have a way that they could just shoot you an email maybe to find out more about getting a copy of that book?
Sure. It is on Amazon, and you can definitely order it there. But for those of you that are listening or watching this, I'd be happy to gift you the electronic version of Growing Your Business if you will send my assistant Kylie an email, and her email is Kylie, Kylie. Oh, there it is. There it went.
There goes technology.
Yeah, Kylie at growingyourbusiness.com. Just send her an email. How about if we say in the next 24 hours or by midnight Central Standard Time on Wednesday, August 21st. After that, we'll take your order on Amazon.
Yeah, so it's Growing Your Business.
Yes.
Thank you. That's very generous. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, you're very welcome. As long as you're flashing it around there, we'll make it available as a gift.
I got all your books. I should have thought to bring them. I only have a couple books, so I got another one I'm going to flash in a minute.
Yeah.
So did we cover the first question?
Yes.
Did you have more you want to add there?
Yep. The strategic question is, you either become known for something or you become known to a sliver of the marketplace. And obviously, the highest degree of focus would be you become known for something to a specific sliver of an audience.
Say that again, become known to somebody.
You become known for something.
For something.
To a particular group. So for example, if I said, I want to be the growing your business guy, and I never want to speak to anybody other than a group of dentists or a group of consultants or a group of chiropractors or a group of real estate agents. And in fact, a friend of mine from the East Coast, his name is Bill Cates, has been a leader in the National Speakers Association, is probably the most focused person that I know in the industry. And he became known for the art and the craft of stimulating referrals. He's not a marketing speaker. He specifically took it one degree further and said, I want to be the expert on how to stimulate referrals.
Cool.
And his sliver of the marketplace was financial advisors.
Oh, wow.
So he only ever wants to be in front of a group of financial advisors. Mm-hmm. Now, if something comes in over the transom reactively, he may entertain that and determine whether or not it's worthwhile taking. But from a proactive perspective, he only targets the world of financial services, specifically financial advisors, on the art and skill and craft of stimulating more referrals. I don't know anyone who is that focused.
I'm gonna have to go look him up. I know the name from NSA, but I'll have to go look him up. That is super, super laser focused.
And he built a small empire.
Wow.
And so, I often share that the more focused you are, the easier everything becomes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. We have multiple people chiming in with a thank you, Mark, for the book. And another thing I heard you say before we go on to question number 2 was, I think this was back when you were talking about your intro, you talked about how your sliver of focus, what you're known for is growing your business. Mm-hmm. And Mark's going to be doing a pre-conference session at Jumpstart in January. When we were having a call recently, one of our coaching calls, I asked Mark, you know what I'm going to say, what I'm going to share with them is that I said, what are you going to speak about at your pre-conference session? And he said, probably growing your business, which it just reminded me, yes, that really is the niche, that really is what you're known for, and it really all rolls back to that. So, mm-hmm. Okay, so tell us, what is the second?
The second strategic question, which I think is even more important than the first strategic question. I refer to it as the $1 million question. And the $1 million question is, what is the one program, product, presentation, or service you specifically want to sell more of? You might have a lot of things on your menu of topics or your menu of products and programs and services, but if you could shine a bright light onto one product or presentation or program specifically, what would that be? And Vanessa, I hear every day, I'm fairly certain you hear it often as well, I don't really care. I love everything that I do. I just want to change the world because I love people and I'm really good at everything on my menu. Um, that may very well be. I have a lot of things on my menu. I have 5 different profit centers. I have a number of different programs and products and services in my menu. But imagine if you could put a pin light or shine a bright light on one thing that you said, this is a part of my extreme focus. In fact, sometimes I refer to it as, what if it was a gateway sale? What if that one program, product, presentation, or service, if you put your muscle and your might behind that one thing, it would open the doors to selling more of everything or a number of things in your menu. Again, it took me a long time to have the courage to look at everything that I was doing and say, gosh, if I could do that. In fact, that was a turning point maybe 22 or 24 years ago when I had 4 or 5 different presentations that I was trying to market without much success. And one day I woke up, and of course, you know, I'm from a small town farming community in northern Minnesota. And I woke up one morning and I thought, if I could do growing your business 50 times a year at my fee, I'd be happier than a pig in mud. And I set aside the other presentations and I began to take growing your business to the marketplace. And 3 years later, I wrote the little blue book, Growing Your Business. And to date, I've done over 1,000 presentations titled Growing Your Business. So that's been my lead dog in the pack. And like I said, the more focused you are, the easier everything becomes. So the second strategic question is, what is the one program, product, presentation, or service you specifically want to sell more of? And let's now begin to think of it or begin to possibly even brand it as your signature sale. What is your flagship presentation or your signature dish from your menu that, gosh, if I booked more of this, it could lead to more of A, B, and C in my menu. Does that make sense?
Definitely. So it's like why you say it's the gateway, right? Because if we can get more people through there, then they can see the other opportunities that will fill the other profit centers. So in this model, we don't love all our children equally. we choose one that we're going to nurture more because it's going to help all of them ultimately.
That's right. That's right. And I like to think of that as your signature sale. So 24-ish years ago, I didn't have that language. I just knew I wanted to book 50 Growing Your Business presentations. It would be years later that I would begin to see some examples in the marketplace of signature type products or offerings. And I thought, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's my signature dish.
Mm-hmm. And it just takes a little bit of time, doesn't it? Pardon me for hopping in here. It just takes a little bit of time. And this is where I go back to the tools that I've started using with our coaching. And the numbers tool you have that where you break out and you keep track of daily each of your profit centers, which goes back into the way that I coach people to like start with their life vision and then develop that business strategy. That second business strategy piece is really about defining what are those profit centers and how are you going to grow them. And so when you can see those profit centers in front of you and you have a goal for each, and I don't mean to take us off into like the numbers conversation because we could spend an hour there, right, or more. But I think that really makes it made it clear for me anyway, because I'm a visual person, when I looked at each of those profit centers and realized that I was missing the big picture because I didn't see the forest for the trees until I put it right here in front of me, that this is really the sale. Oops, get it in the camera. This column is the sale that then brings people in that where they naturally would learn about the other opportunities. And I think that would apply to most speakers and consultants, especially those who have established a business and have multiple profit centers in addition, speaking and consulting is in addition to some other areas.
That's right.
That's really, really, really powerful, because then you focus in the right place to be able to see that growth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we can't you kind of need to let that sit and think on that. I encourage those who are listening in and making comments and saying absolutely, and thank you for that. I encourage you to really, get it in front of you in black and white so that you can take a look at those. Mm-hmm. Profit centers. I'm jumping into that terminology. Mark, do you want to explain that one?
Well, think of your business like a restaurant. I mean, the overarching objective is to create a model for your business that you are excited about. And the more defined your menu of programs, products, presentations, and services. I mean, think about a restaurant. A restaurant typically has 5 profit centers. They have their appetizers with a number of options. They have their soups and salads section. They have their entrees. They have their dessert section of the menu, and they have their bar and beverage. And so that's 5 different profit centers with selections in each profit center.
Yeah.
And so the more, a consultant or a coach or speaker, trainer, or a professional of any kind, in fact, a dentist, he or she has multiple profit centers. So they've got different streams of revenue or different ways in which they provide oral care and different services by different people in the practice. But a lot of times we don't think of it as different profit centers. We just begin to think this is our array of services, mm-hmm. and we don't really care what we book. We just want more.
Yeah. And so then it's a scattered approach.
It's a scattered approach. And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, well, what should I focus on today? And we tend to go wherever the wind tends to blow us.
Mm-hmm. Wherever the emails lead us.
That's right. And I want to point out something. You used the example of loving your children. And I often say that saying yes to one thing in your menu doesn't mean you're saying no to the others. Mm. So just because you spend time with one of your children doesn't mean you don't care about the others. Because sometimes people can get testy with me. It's like, well, Mark, I love everything. It doesn't really matter. And it's like, I will guarantee you that if you pick a signature sale and put your muscle and your might against that, you're going to do better in all areas of your business by focusing on one.
I believe the term I've heard you use is pick a signature profit center, a signature sale, and drive it to the moon.
Yes. And if you drive it to the moon, you'll find that you will be more successful in your other profit centers.
Totally.
Yeah.
So tell me again, I took it off the little title. What was the name of this second question?
The $1 million question.
That's right.
What is the one program, product, presentation, or service you specifically want to sell more of?
And what does someone do if they have challenge figuring that out?
Oh, therapy. Call a friend.
Call Mark.
They might need they might need a lifeline.
But seriously, I had a big aha at this Achiever Circle. This is my 4th year of working with you, and I've been how many times? Every time I go to Achiever Circle, by the way, we should talk about what that means. But it's a weekend retreat, business retreat. And Mark can tell you more about that. But at this Achiever Circle, it occurred to me, Jumpstart is my signature sale. Mm-hmm. And that's what you said, duh. I know it wasn't like demeaning, but it's kind of like it was obvious to you. But it really wasn't obvious to me because I was down in the muck because we started as a marketing agency. And so I always thought like the design work is my signature sell. And I want to sell more Jumpstart. And I think that there's probably more people like me who are down in the day-to-day of it. And so in seriousness, like if someone's having a challenge, determining that, do you have like a pinpoint session or something you can offer that if somebody wants to pick your brain to say, hey, can you just like tell me, does this make sense?
Well, yes, I can do a couple of individual sessions with someone. We call them a 90-minute pinpoint coaching session. I also, at an average about 2 times a week or about 8 times a month, I will have a virtual coffee with someone just to hear their story, answer some questions. So if there are any listeners or viewers of this Facebook Live, if you would like to have a virtual coffee with me in the next 90 days, we're usually booked out about a month in advance. But if you just want to pick my brain, and I'd love to share some time with you and hear your story. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. It's a non-selling zone. It's a complete give. And I would love to do that.
I only laugh because I remember when you and I had our first call, I was like, I want the whole thing. Tell me, how does it work? I already knew I was in. So that's like, but I love that because you're serious about that. It really is a gift. So would it be Mark at growingyourbusiness.com, or how do you want them to reach out to Kylie?
Yeah, probably reach out to Kylie and say, I'd love to have a virtual coffee with Mark.
Perfect. Kylie at growingyourbusiness.com. I kind of hijacked us and took us off into profit centers and the numbers tool. Did you have anything more you wanted to share on that second, our $1 million question?
I do. I'll give a quick example. If you think about your favorite restaurant, whether it's fine dining or a dive or a drive-in or the corner cafe, most of the time your favorite restaurant has some item on their menu that they're known for. They either have the best bowl of chili or key lime pie or a great hamburger or something on their menu that they will, pardon?
Queso.
Yeah. And it becomes something that this restaurant is known for. And the example or the story I like to share is my favorite restaurant in the world is in downtown Minneapolis, and it's Murray's. Murray's is fine dining. They've been in business for approximately 70 years. It's one of those restaurants where they just do everything right. You can order anything on their menu, and it's amazing. They have their own pastry chef. They make their all of their salad dressings are house made. They have their own butcher shop. And it's I think one of the last great independent fine dining steakhouses in the country. But they have built their brand over the last 70 years. They have 9 different steaks. I have had them all, and they're all amazing. But one of their steaks is called their signature butter knife steak. Now, if you don't eat beef, they've got plenty, of other things to choose from. But if you do eat beef, it will be one of the finest pieces of beef you will ever put in your mouth. In fact, I think, Vanessa, you and Jeff have experienced the silver butter knife steak carved tableside that you split with Ann and I.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was very good. In fact, the whole experience was remarkable. But you're right. That is it rises to the top. The actual steak itself. And
you can even go to their website, murraysrestaurant.com, and just notice how they position the silver butter knife steak in their menu, on their website, actually even on the outside of their building. It must have been painted 50 years ago, home of the silver butter knife steak. And that was a huge insight to me in how to take and anchor your brand around a signature dish or signature sale. By the way, if any of you come to Minneapolis, I will take you to Murray's for a silver butter knife steak.
Well, that's an invitation. You might have a whole group of people who just decide to come to the next Minneapolis Achiever Circle or something.
That's right. I've had people come to the Achiever Circle in Minneapolis, assuming that we were all going to Murray's for the silver butter knife steak.
That's a great example.
Yeah, it really is. As a speaker consultant, by accident, 24 years ago or so, I chose a Growing Your Business presentation as my signature sale. Fast forward 20 years later or so, I created a special coaching option and we literally branded it our signature 30-30 coaching relationship. And it was meeting with somebody for 30 minutes every 30 days. And that became a very popular coaching option. And that was my signature dish for a number of years. And then we made a switch. We made a new decision. And like you enrolling a seat at Jumpstart is one of your signature dish. For me, presently, it is getting a registration for our Achiever Circle. So our signature dish right now is a registration for our Achiever Circle business retreat. We do 8 retreats a year. And the reason why I'm sharing these numbers is that these are what I call benchmarks. And a benchmark is simply a number that measures an activity or a result. And so when you begin to shape your signature dish, you want to know, how many of these do I want to book or sell or contract for every 30 days? My benchmark for Achiever Circle seats is book 8 seats every 30 days. I don't care which of the 8 retreats a year that somebody registers for. Our benchmark is 8 every 30 days. We know that if we book 96 seats in a 12-month rolling period, it's game over. We get more coaching clients, we get more speaking engagements, we get more advocacy in the marketplace, we sell more books. And so our extreme sliver of focus is booking 8 seats every 30 days. And so we're always looking for where do we leave breadcrumbs? Where do we leave clues that lead people to considering the Achiever Circle? And you've heard me say this before, Vanessa. And again, I want to demonstrate or model what I'm teaching or sharing. The Achiever Circle is the bomb. I mean, if I don't believe it, how am I ever going to get you to believe it? And we have deconstructed it and rebuilt it periodically over time. In a couple of weeks, I will do my 145th weekend business retreat called the Achiever Circle. So, you know, what are you most excited about? I'm talking to the listeners now and the viewers of this session. But just think about your business and think about your menu and sleep on it tonight and be thinking, what is the one thing that I want to sell more of. And when you make that decision, you will find ways to upgrade your marketing tools. It may change the selection of your marketing strategies. It may alter or impact where you aim the execution of your marketing strategies. So the ripple effect from your answers to several of these strategic questions will shape or reshape your brand, as well as give you ammunition or a way to think about your marketing tools and strategies in a whole new light.
That is so powerful. I mean, seriously, like I hope that as people listen to this, they'll re-listen, because these are just really super powerful concepts. And I can share from the customer side. You shared with us from your business side, your signature sell and your strategy. I would say from the experience of it, we started with an achiever circle. And so it's a great example of the gateway. You called it a gateway sell. So that so me as a potential client, when I came to Achiever Circle, I could learn more. What would it be like to work with you and to understand your concepts? And so and then I bought in. Like it made sense to me. I could see it helped me already. And so I wanted to take that next step. So our speaker consultants that are listening in, I think something similar for their consulting would be really valuable. I mean, there's so many things we could share. You have so many great ideas around, showcases or different ways that you can put together your own presentations, and to be able to Achiever Circle is really a showcase for you in a lot of ways, in that it you decide the date. I put the date up here. Our next one, September 6th through 8th in Minneapolis. You can decide your own date and place and time, and we're not waiting for a meeting planner to hire us to bring. It allows us, it really just wraps together everything you said. It allows us to bring together the right group of people that are that real narrow sliver of that right potential perfect fit, and ultimately gives those people a chance to see. This is like dating before we get married. Gives us a chance to see, would it be a good fit? Does it feel like is he full of crap, or do I, do I buy into any of this, or, anyway, preaching to the choir here. So I get excited because I've seen it work for myself, and I'd really love to see those who haven't been to Achiever Circle. It's such a unique concept. One thing I didn't put up here, and I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit more about Achiever Circle when you're ready. I don't know if we're done with number 2 yet, but if you have anything more to share that, but then I'd love for you to tell them, what is that? Because we keep mentioning it.
Well, the Achiever Circle is a business development retreat. We take up to 15 independent or practice professionals on a weekend. We start at 3:00 on a Friday. We end at noon on Sunday. So it's a small, intimate group experience. Most people who come to an Achiever Circle, or who have over the last 19 years, have either heard me speak, or they've been strongly referred by somebody who has heard me speak. It is intense, as you might imagine, when you're driving focus and trying to drive clarity. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is a powerful experience for somebody who's ready to make some new decisions and might want to take their business or their practice up one level, or be looking at how to take it up 4 levels. Like my coffee talk opportunity, I don't sell anything on the Achiever Circle. There's no pitch. It's not a pitch fest. It's not. I'm not signing you up for anything. I'm not offering anything. It is what I call a discrete, interactive experience. And while it's intense, it's chunked out in a way. And then, of course, now probably not everybody appreciates my trademark style and humor, but there's a lot of laughs along the way, and most of the laughs come from poking fun at me and the mistakes that I have made along the way in trying to become more successful or more focused. So we have plenty of breaks and opportunities to digest the information. But like I said earlier, it's the bomb. And my hope is that if you never come to an achiever circle, or you are never interested in coaching with me, which is totally fine, I want you to experience this Facebook Live interview and say, what are the answers to my 2 questions? And how could I amp up or elevate my business model by becoming more focused? How can I create strategies and develop tools? There's a saying in the National Speakers Association, it's not my saying, but the saying is, people are persuaded more by the depth of your conviction than by any logic that you present. I want every single speaker, I want every single consultant or coach or trainer to be able to say with a deep sense of conviction, my one program, product, presentation, or service is the bomb. Because you certainly believe that about Jumpstart.
Oh, yeah.
It's the bomb.
It is. Kaboom. But I know what you're saying exactly. You have to why would we create something we don't believe in, right? But we have to, okay, I agree.
You don't wave a magic wand and possess that kind of conviction. I've done 144 achiever circles. I always felt it was good, but it probably took me to 100 retreats. Even though I knew it was good, I probably could not stand up and say, this is the bomb. I mean, it took me years to develop that kind of conviction. But if a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, every one of our listeners could say, my keynote speech is the bomb. My half-day training session is the bomb. Boy, we can change the world.
Oh, I agree. We've covered a lot.
I'm not done. At the beginning of this session, I demonstrated an example of a defining paragraph. And I also want to hold up this book, Defining You, because I want to make sure that when you send an email to Kylie and request the electronic version of Growing Your Business, please also ask her for the electronic version of Defining You. Those are my 2 gifts for you this evening, but there's a time limit. And by midnight Central Standard Time on Wednesday, August 21st, that email better hit Kylie's inbox, and you've got 2 gifts waiting for you. We're not going to put you on our database. That's not a ploy or a trick to have you become part of our herd or our tribe, or I'm not going to put you in a funnel and send you 17 emails in the next 15 days. In fact, Vanessa, you'll be lucky if you ever hear from me again.
So if we want to be in the funnel, if we want to be on the list, can we be on the list? Can we say, please send me more?
Yeah, well, let's get the electronic books in there.
That's so generous. Thank you, Mark. So what I heard you say was Kylie, Kylie, I had it run across the bottom at growingyourbusiness.com in the next 24 hours. So by tomorrow night, midnight Central Time, offer expires. So get an email to Kylie and she'll send you an electronic version of both of those books. And the Defining You tells us defining us our paragraph that we talked about earlier, but a statement and a defining story. So this is all really well broken out. Very, very powerful stuff here.
That's it. I'm done.
How are we doing? Oh, this has been just so much fun and a lot of great information. I knew it would be, and we just have barely skimmed across the surface of what's available to learn here from Mark. Let me put up here again on our screen, markleblanc.com. You can learn more about Achiever Circle there. We have our next one coming up in September. I've got someone, I'm sorry I can't see names and faces, but I see someone here is planning to come to Tennessee later this year, which is awesome. And so as you said, you have, I think, 8 a year, so pretty much every month or two.
Yeah, we have 8 a year. We do them in Minneapolis, the Nashville area in December, and then several times a year in La Jolla, California.
And that's my favorite.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned it, Vanessa, but if I could,
yes.
We're having the 3rd Jumpstart in January 2020, and I know you haven't talked about that a lot, but if you're on the fence, it's an amazing experience, and I can hardly wait. And as you shared, I will be doing a pre-conference session for 12 people.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
It's going to be what we call a practice. It's going to be a roll up your sleeves working session, and we're going to look at a number of things. We might dive deep on some of these issues, as well as some of the numbers in your business. But I'm going to take up to 12, and it's going to be called a table of 12. And it will be the ultimate business development session.
Oh, that's quite a promise.
And Kylie doesn't know anything about it yet, but
she will tomorrow.
She will tomorrow. But if you're interested in being in my table of 12 at Jumpstart, a pre-conference, you need to register with me. Send me an email if you want to be a part of that. There will be a fee attached to that, and so I can get you the details. But the sooner you send me an email on that, if that is of interest to you, please come a day early to attend the table of 12.
We just had a little something weird with our speaker, so hopefully we're still okay. We didn't hear quite the end of that. So we're going to email Mark at growingyourbusiness.com to find out more about that pre-conference session. And thank you for bringing up Jumpstart. I did want to be sure we mentioned that today. We are going to be offering pre-conference sessions the afternoon prior to Jumpstart. So for those of you who are already signed up, and we're 2/3 of the way or more to full. So if you're on the fence about signing up, be sure you get signed up, because I really think we'll sell out before January. So I've got on the screen here, jumpstart2020.com. You can use discount code EARLYBIRD to save $300 on your registration. I don't really have an end date for that, but we're probably getting close, September, October. So you be sure you get that done. Now, the pre-conference sessions will be the afternoon, Wednesday the 8th. Our conference is January 9 through 11. And basically on the Wednesday afternoon before, some of our faculty members will be teaching their own courses. And so you guys will be finding out more about the details, what's available for these afternoon sessions. And that will come through our DSI Facebook group, but also we'll get out emails to you, and you'll know about all the different options. You can actually sign up for 2, because we'll have 2 different sessions, 1 to 2:30 and then 3 to 4:30, I think is what we were doing. And Mark's will be the second in the afternoon, the second session. And so you'll find out more about those topics soon. And just to let you know, too, our agenda we'll have online here pretty soon. It's really come together nicely. A couple of our keynoters, we have Chuck Blakeman will be our keynoter on our first day on Thursday. We'll be doing both a lecture and then a workshop that afternoon. Many of you know Chuck through his book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, which I refer to pretty much everybody, just like Mark's books. I have my couple that I think are just Bibles that I make sure everybody knows about. And then we also have Des Thornton will be speaking to us on our last morning, and he is going to help us with content development and speech writing, and likely going to even do a little live coaching from the stage on that one. And we have some really awesome panels. We're going to talk about, again, on the main stage, we'll talk about how do you fill your pipeline with speaking. We have a group of speakers and consultants that have been able to spin off speaking not only into consulting business, but also to their other profit centers in their business. And they're going to share with you some of their best tips, and also have an opportunity for Q&A so you can learn from that. I'm going to wait to roll out our second morning panel, because I think it is just so freaking amazing. I'm going to let a little bit of like a kind of a drum roll for a little while until we're ready to like release that. But this is going to be a panel of experts. You've never seen anything like it for dental speaking and consulting, and definitely hitting on future of CE, how to work with sponsors and be a key opinion leader, and how to work with DSOs, and like some topics that I know you guys are interested in finding out more about. That's just some of what we're doing on the main stage. And mind you, we also have multiple concurrent sessions every time we break out to concurrent. It's just the biggest challenge this year, Mark, is going to be figuring out how do I get everything I want out of this agenda, because there's just so many opportunities. But know that we also will have you taken care of there. We are going to have an option for you to purchase at a low cost. Those that the concurrent sessions you're not able to go to, we're going to make that available to our attendees. So there's a lot that's still going to be announced. We're just really ramping up our game. And yes, I am super excited. And this is oh my gosh, Jumpstart is the bomb. It really is the bomb. I'm so excited. And I'm really excited for all of those of you who have already signed up and are also excited to be there. Can't wait to see you. And of course, hear you again, Mark. We'll be able to announce soon a concurrent session that you're going to be presenting as well. And so thanks for being here tonight and sharing so much of your wisdom with us, Mark. Before we go, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd want to leave us with? Any final thoughts?
I do, and I don't. I'm going to put you on the spot, and so I know you got a lot of things on your mind. If you don't give me the right answer, I will share it. I will share it with our viewers.
Okay.
You're already 2/3 booked for Jumpstart 2020.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because we're still a little more than 4 months out.
135 people.
Yeah. Why are you at this point so early in the game?
When I don't even have my agenda up online or any kind of marketing really out there about it. And I don't know if this is what you're thinking, but I'll tell you, I felt that we hit a tipping point at our second meeting, which was in January. I think it's because it's an idea that the time is right. That's the right people that are teaching it. The faculty we pull together, the speakers, and because the overall experience is such that people are seeing huge jumps in their business. I've heard from so many speakers that left Jumpstart in January, just 7-8 months ago, who have written to me throughout these last months and have said, I just recently read said I wasn't really sure about coming in January because it felt like maybe it's not the right time. We're just off the holidays. But she said, it has made all the difference to me, because I started my year with intentions, and I have just been able to just check them off the list, and she sees her business just growing and growing and growing. So I think, I don't know that there's one thing, I'm not quite sure what you're looking for, but for me, I felt like it was an idea that we just brought to the marketplace, and that people have said, yes, 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 this is helping me. I want more. And so it's grown, it has legs, it's growing on its own.
Okay, you know, I like to live in a world of 2 or more right answers.
Okay.
So your answer was one right answer, but here's my right answer as to why you're doing so well with Jumpstart. You made it your signature sale.
Oh, that would have been a faster answer.
Your decision to make it your signature dish or your signature sale has elevated or given you fuel throughout the year. I mean, you've been marketing. You started marketing Jumpstart 2020 the day after or during Jumpstart 2019, but you've had no break or lull in your enthusiasm and your depth of conviction for Jumpstart 2020. I believe that decision created a turning point in the direction of Jumpstart.
I agree. And I think that your question really wraps a big bow around everything we've talked about today, because I do think it is the bomb. Whether anybody else thinks it's the bomb or not, I kind of don't care, because like, I know it's the bomb, right? And that's what you're talking about, is that for each of us as speakers and consultants, we have to believe in what we're putting out there. And it is the depth of our conviction toward it that will help you as speakers and consultants sell your programs as well. So, yeah. So see us in January at Jumpstart, and see us at an Achiever Circle along the way. That kind of wraps it up.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for being here, Mark. You are the bomb. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. And until next time, be well.